Okay, Jeff, here another ethics question of the day. Here I'm in the animal park, and so I'm going to show you here. I'm going to walk over to the. He's got some people talking as they're waiting for this little kind of show thing coming up. So I'm going to show you this, right? So check that out. We got the recycling bin, right? So we got the recycling bin, the plastic bottles, and then we got the throw of the stuff. So my son and I yesterday, going back to the hotel, I stopped by a supermarket just to get some drinks, canned drinks, right? So I bought some 7 Up and I bought some iced tea, I think it was, right? In cans. And I thought to myself, hey, I'll get the cans, and then we'll be able to recycle the cans at this place because they've got recycling. So came here and had the 7 Up, drank 7 Up for lunch, and then came to put it in the box, and I don't have a can recycling bin, and I can't believe this. Now, usually in France, they've got the recycling bins. You recycle the bottles and the cans together, right? At least a home recycling. And here they didn't have it. Now, Disney doesn't have it all. Okay, Disneyland doesn't have it all. But this was, and so we're sitting there, and he said, well, because there's probably enough, and they probably don't sell any. They don't sell any anything in tin cans. We're probably just plastic bottles. Yeah, I said, but I said, he says it's probably not worth it. And then this all came down. What's worth it? What's the question of worth? What's the question of doing things that are worth something or not? And I said to him that recycling is never a profit game. It's always a loss, right? Always a loss. That's why people don't do it. This has been known for decades. The reason why people don't do a lot of companies, enterprises, corporations don't do recycling because it's a loss. Um, and the whole thing is you just have to decide to do it or not. You got to decide if you're going to go that direction or not, right? So the funny thing is, so we're sitting there talking about it, and I'm discussing, at one point, what would it cost to have an extra bag, just the extra bin? But he says, well, how many people? I said, well, look, if you get 10,000 people, I see people that not eating the food here. They're actually bringing their own food, and I might bring their own drinks. And so you're going to get out of 10,000 people, maybe a couple hundred cans, right? Maybe a couple hundred cans. But a couple hundred cans, sorry about the noise, but I'm going to hear it at an animal park, right? Kids, they scream, right, in animal parks. So, so you might have a few hundred cans, but a few hundred cans is a lot of tin. And 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 if you actually put them there, then maybe people will start recycling it more, right? You have to create the need rather than just having the need. You have to create the need at the same time. But some people don't want to create the need because it's a lot of work. It costs money to create the need. It's a lot of work to create the need. It's sometimes a waste of money to create the need. Uh, and sometimes that yellow little thing probably wasn't there for a long time. It wasn't even green. It was just regular thing, and people just throw it away all the time, right? So I think it's kind of just funny, and I'm bringing up these videos in this kind of ethics question here. I'm at the animal park. There are lots of questions as I'm walking around thinking about things, right? Sorry, I got lots of noise. This is the wolf area, right? So all these kids they're all playing wolves here, and the parents too. But the funny thing is, I've been seeing. So Elliot, I'm gonna tag you on this, right? So, because you're asking me what my questions are and what my things about the kind of ethics of climate change and what we're doing to the planet. Well, this fits into it, right? It's do we do things? Do we how much are we willing to look at the profit loss and say we're gonna lose money on it? We're gonna lose money on it just so we can save the planet. And what's the point of what's that point of threshold of diminishing returns? And I think we're getting to a point where the point of no return is there because we just choose not to recycle or choose not to do things, or we choose to do things that would throw away and throw up the landfill. Now, I'll say one other thing. Landfill's kind of interesting, and I actually talked to the friend who works for Colas, which is It's an asphalt generate company. They create asphalt for roads. And he was telling me this summer about how sometimes you can what they do is they take he says they take the petroleum product, right, the raw, and they'll strip out stuff for the diesel, for the gasoline and stuff, and you get down to the kind of the molasses rest of it. And then what you do is depending on the kind of asphalt you're going to put down in different places, because the highways, that kind of stuff. And you actually see this, I found it when you're going to intersections. In intersections, you'll see that the asphalt used in intersections, it's got little flicks, specks in it. You can see it actually in the intersections, because it looks like, because they probably redo this a lot, right? They do this a lot. But the interesting is that you can see it's mixed with other stuff in it. What's mixed it is a lot of other stuff. They mix in throwaway stuff. It's mixed in so it becomes thicker. And that's how we get rid of some of the landfill stuff, right? So this is kind of interesting, because what they're trying to do is recycle some throwaway stuff into landfill material into the asphalt, which gets used down, and they just continue to put more layers on top, right? So there are ways to do this. And when we were driving along, I saw my son yesterday, I said, as we come through lots of intersections, little things, I said, hey, look at the intersections. The square of the intersection, the asphalt, has got these little flickers in it. That little kind of metal, looks like lots of little specks, the middle, little shiny little specks in it. And you don't see it when you're on the road, right? Because it's got a different quality of asphalt, or a different type of asphalt. The other stuff's mixed into it. Really interesting. But again, this all comes back down to is saving the planet, right? So what are we doing? How are we doing it? And lots of interesting ethics questions. What are we doing? What am I doing? What are my son's doing? And what are we all doing every day to think about how we're going to save this planet long term? So that's it. Jeff out. Got to go to the wolf show, right?